Hi everyone, my name's Amy, known here on YouTube as A Little Farm Quilts, known on Instagram as A Little Farm Quilts, and I have a Facebook page called A Little Farm Quilters if you care to join. The reason I'm named that, because this started out as a quilting channel. And then as most quilters, I have transitioned into some cross stitch, and I apologize ahead of time, you're going to hear some construction work. There's construction work going on in my master bathroom. Yay. But that means a little noisy here, so we're going to film in chunks. Today is Thursday, July 28th. Today is mostly about cross stitch. I have one knitting WIP. I have a significant haul section that we will leave to the end of the video so you can piece out if you want. I will be filming this in sections and then knitting them all together. Hopefully this will go up on YouTube today. This floss tube is also going to have a WIP Parade because I'm late to the 6-month mark of the year in WIP Parade, so I'm going to mark it here at the end of July. And I'm going to try to show you my WIP's oldest to newest. And we'll see how that goes. So that's why we're going to do it in chunks, because otherwise I would, you'd see me bend over to get everything all the time. So this is segment number 1. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining the crazy. If you're returning, thanks for supporting me. I totally appreciate it. My subscribers have bumped up a little as of late. I'm not sure why. So if you've heard from me from somebody else, please put that below. If somebody gave me a shout out, I'd sure like to thank them. And but I'm grateful. If you choose to keep coming back for my crazy, then I'm all about that. Let's give you some stats. For those of you that don't know, and I'm not sure if I already mentioned it here or not, because I'm looking at my notes now. I'm a little late on the whole WIP Parade thing. I just said that. It's because I was RVing for 3 weeks plus 3 days. I think we just got back into town this past Monday. Today is Thursday, so we spent some time getting in touch with family and seeing them. We had a big family dinner last night. It was a great time, and I will talk about it more at the end. So if you don't want to hear about it, you don't have to. But some stats for you. I started out this year, I have a spreadsheet in front of me. See how prepared I am? I started out this year with 36 WIPs. Since then, I've had 6 starts, 6 finishes, and netted out at 37 WIPs. So one more WIP than I started with. That number just does not go down, right? If you've been here a while, you know that I constantly make plans and then I renege on my plans. I gave up on WIP Go. I did that last year too. I started WIP Go, went really well for 6 months, and I don't know, stopped. I just don't like following the rules unless they're made by me, and then even then it's short-lived. So we're going to start today. I have 2 finishes to show you that are recent, that have not been in a floss tube before. And you'll see a little bit of different setup behind me. Okay, so here's the deal. I used to be a long arm, I still am a long arm quilter. Prior to me going on vacation, I sold my long arm machine to my cousin. Because I had not used it in like 2 years. I still quilt. I have a sewing area. This room here is my office, and it had all of my cross stitch stuff in it and some of my sewing stuff. Since the long arm has left the residence, so to speak, I spent some time yesterday moving all of my sewing stuff to one space down there. So all my sewing stuff is down there. So this room here, and when I say down there, it's in my finished basement. So up here is my dedicated office. Sorry, I just hit the desk. And cross stitch. So you see my Modern Folk Embroidery Fruits of Plenty that I finished in January. Death is a Dialogue, which was a black sampler by Lindy Stitches. You see part of Tree Farm Jack Frost Tree Farm, and I believe that's from Little House Needleworks. You'll see more things show up on my wall back here. You see Cubby here. I needed to do this floss tube basically because I need to get my WIPs and stuff back into this cubby and have them organized. But I wanted to show them to you first, so I'm doing the WIP Parade. Down here, these are all my kitted items. And you see I have more bags to use, so theoretically I could keep kitting. Yeah, we'll go there in a minute. But I'd like to get my WIPs into these cubes so I know how much space I have left to put other stuff in. And this is like a little ironing space to do finishing at. You see a little iron, oh, which way? There we go. A little iron there. And I actually ironed my finishes for you today. So you'll see more stuff go up. Stuff will be hanging here on the wall eventually, but that's honestly where the door opens. You see the door behind me. So I don't know how much I'll actually hang there. But anyway, you hopefully will have something better in the background to look at. That being said, here in upstate New York, it's now raining. It's been overcast most of the morning. It was sunny first thing, but then overcast. It's supposed to be raining most of the day, so I have lighting on. That may play tricks with some of this when it comes to haul and showing you things, but I guess we'll deal with what we have to deal with. So let's start. We are now 6 minutes in and I haven't shown you a single piece of stitching. So let's start by showing you some finishes. My first finish, which I finished when I went RVing for the 3 weeks, I took all of my patriotic pieces and all my Christmas pieces, and because I couldn't decide what I was going to take and what I wasn't going to take, I just decided on that. Not everything got work, and you'll see that as I go through my WIP Parade, but some things did. So this is an old WIP. Let me see if I can find out when I wonder when I started this. When did I start it? There you go. This is hands-on design done with collaboration of Priscilla Blaine from Stitching with the Housewives. This is called the Liberty Jar. I'm not doing that small one, at least not right now. This will go back into my kitted area because I already have the A to cut for that small one, and I would like to eventually do it. And because I'm really shy on small WIPs, as you will see as this WIP Parade progresses. I might end up starting it just so I can have something small, you know. But I finished the jar, the bigger piece. I finished it on July 15th. I used all the called for. So the chalkboard Ada and all the called for classic, I believe they're all classic Colorworks threads. And I should have something behind this, so I'm just going to do this, and there you go. So I have other jars that I've done. I did the pumpkin one, I've done the sunflower one. I did not do the bunny one. I was not a fan of that one. It just was one that I didn't like. But anyway, I got the Liberty jar done. I also have the snowman jar here that needs to be FFO'd. And I did do the Santa ones. It's really pouring, so if you can hear that, then I'm sorry. So that's a finish. And I'm going to put the rest into, zip, just to warn you. I'm going to try to do them slow, but I am going to try to keep this organized so that I can organize when I'm done. So that's going into the kitted. The next finish I had was from the Primitive Stitcher Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It was the 2021 winter. It's Barbara Anna's Dancer. So I did not, nor could I find the fabric that was called for this when it was time. And I also had started the birthday cake. I've since abandoned it. It was a birthday cake Christmas stitch. I forget what it was called. It was available through Creative Poppy. Is that what it was? Anyway, You're all yelling at me from the other side of the camera, I can tell. I like the colors of that stitch better than I like the called for of this, and I thought on the fabric that I chose, the called for did not look like that looked on here, to be fair. So I used some of the called for, some of my own substitution. I stitched it on 32 count vintage country mocha Lugana, and here is my finish. I did not do the number plate up here. I liked it like this and left it like this. And I'm quite happy with the finish. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this one yet. I'd like to kind of do it a stand-up. So I might have to look at one of Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorials to do a stand-up. Not a flat fold stand-up, but you know, something that's stuffed and sits on the shelf. Yeah, so those are my two finishes. I had these grand ideas that because I'd be RVing, I'd have tons of time and I would be stitching a lot, and I really didn't stitch as much as I thought I was going to. Stitched way more than usual, but not as much as I thought I was going to. You know, so I'm gonna try to, when I go through these WIPs, I'm going to try to tell you what I worked on and what I did not. I'm going to try to tell you the age of the WIP and all the particulars, because I have my spreadsheet right here in front of me. So if you've been around for any stretch of time, you know what my oldest WIP is, and you know what I'm going to show you right now. This is called Lost No More. It's a gold dimensions kit. I'm stitching this on the called for fabric and with the kit fabric, kit floss. I made no changes. I started this back, I'm guessing, in June of 1996. Sorry, that's my phone. Let me just make sure it's not. Okay. And it kind of got packed away for like 20 years. And so it comes out and I work on it pretty good for a while, and then it'll go away just because I get tired. I think that it's because the chart is not the easiest to read, and I love Pattern Keeper, so I struggle. I have this on my scroll rod. So anything that I'm currently working on and all of my full coverage are still on either a scroll frame or they're in a Q-snap, just because I want them easy to pick up and work. I'm not going to take them off to show them on floss tubes. So the next time, this is how far I am. So on vacation, I brought this side down and worked in his robe and on the path and in some of the stonework here. I think this one's gonna go back on my lap stand. I have a KZ Creation lap stand that this frame is from. And it's gonna go in my living room because now I have a stitching spot set up in here. I think this might go in my living room. So I can get back to working on it, maybe for a daily 30 or something. I do really want to get this done. The chart is a bear to read, and I don't like it. It's a pain. You know? So, anyway. But I do like the piece, and I like how it's stitching. I have other dimensions kits that I would like to stitch on. And we'll see. The second oldest WIP, I have nothing. So I got back into cross stitching late 2018. I have either finished all of those or abandoned them. And then in 2019, I had a ton of finishes. I did Mania, started something for every day of May. I have finished all of them. I started small calendar type things. I finished all of them, and so I go from my oldest WIP from 1996 to 2020 is my oldest, but I have a lot in 20. I have a lot in every year. I think this year is the least amount of starts I've ever had. But anyway, I started this on 2/28/2020. This is Cardinal Points. This was a collaboration between General Arts Threads and Long Dog. And this was for Long Dog Leap Day sale that was started by Two Martini Stitcher back in 2020. I think I just dropped the fabric tag. Hold on. Yep. Okay, here. This is being stitched on 36 count Winter Moon Edinburgh linen. And if you've been around for a while, you know exactly why I haven't worked on this. When I was working on it, I thought, man, this doesn't look like it's enough fabric. And it was, but I mean, I have like a 1/4 inch to spare. A 1/4 inch. So I put it in timeout for a while, and I pulled it out again yesterday when I was going through my WIPs, and I decided that I really need to bring it back out and start working on it again, because it only has a 1/4 inch, yes, but I'm going to frame it tight to the border, so I can sew a piece of fabric on that side, so I need to get over that part. So I'm doing this with the DMCs, and this is where I am now. I have not worked on this at all since the last time you saw it. So this is now in the basket of WIPs I'm currently working. That's why it's on a Q-snap. And I like it. I will like it. I just need to get over the other part and just get over that mental block and just work on it. So I have a feeling, because I'm looking at the time now, and this is 16 minutes already, that this is going to be a long video. So grab something to drink is what I should have said in the beginning. My next oldest WIP is, it's my Christmas list by Carriage House Samplings. I started this on May 3rd, 2020. I am stitching this. Hold on, I have the fabric tag in here. I know it's a Be Stitch Me fabric. I know it's 36 count. I almost feel like it's Neptune, maybe. And I'm stitching this with the Housewives conversion. So Priscilla Blaine on her blog, she has the conversion for this. And it's all with classic color threads. I'm pretty sure the fabric is Neptune by Picture This Plus. It was a fabric of the month. And this is also on the Q-snap because I'm currently working it. Oh, I should put something behind this. Hold on. You'll never be able to see it otherwise. And here we go. I like it a lot. And I should be working on it. So hence why it's in a Q-snap. So I seem to, once I was going through my WIPs and to get ready for the WIP Parade, it seems like I'm wanting to work on my oldest ones and get them done. So anyway, there you go. There's that. And you're always going to see a needle and thread on most of these because that's how I roll. Just is what it is. So that's in my basket to currently be worked on as well. The next one I have is Token of Love. Oops. Sorry, I keep having to bend over to get things. This is Token of Love. This is by With Thy Needle, Brenda Gervais, right? Yes, With Thy Needle. This is the pattern. It's funny because I started this for my husband and haven't picked it up since. But I finished Fruits of Plenty with all the lovebirds in it, so, you know. And I put his initial on there, so we're good. But yes. This is being stitched on 32 count Fresh Roast by R&R. It's being stitched with my own conversion. I did a stash dive for this. I think this was the first one I ever did a stash dive on. And you see his initials are already in there. Let me put something behind it. There you go. And that's where I am now. There's a little bit of this motif that's under the Q-snap. Sorry about that. Here. I'll take it off for you. As long as you let me put it back on. But that's that. That's where I am now. And I really need to pick that back up again too. This is almost ridiculous that some of these are still whips. But I started that back on May 8th of 2020. I do think that was a Mania start as well. You hear me throwing things around. And the last whip I'm going to show you in this segment of the video is Southern Land. It's by Owl Forest Embroidery. I started this on May 10th of 2020, and I am stitching this on 36 count white Edinburgh linen with the called for DMC. This is also on a scroll rod. And this is also in my bin to work on, so part of it is scrolled up. But here's where I am now. I believe, let me see if I can get my tablet open here. Hold on. Because the last time I did a lot here. So this butterfly is new. I finished this line. I'm working on the center motif here. Let me see if I can get my tablet open. So, Southern Land. Oh gosh, I keep getting myself with the screw heads. I am 35.76% done. So still a ways to go, but I actually really get cooking on this because it's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. I get cooking on the ones that are few colors. So this is in my basket to be worked, no particular rotation, just it will remain in my basket until it's done. I'll talk about my plans when we get to the end of the video. Okay, so let me grab another coordinated stack of whips and I'll be right back. On May 11th of 2020, it's on 20 count hand dyed Ada by me. It's dyed in navy blue. See if I can find this. Yes, I can. Nope, that's not what I wanted. It is this one right here. Let's see if we can get it without glare. I love this one. I am 23.82% done. So it seems kind of ridiculous, right? I'm stitching this on the navy blue hand-dyed Ada. I am stitching it in Blanc white. Actually, sorry, I have 3865 in here. And this is how far I am. So once one of the others that's in my basket gets done, this should sub in. I say should because, as you guys know, I make plans. And we all know about my plans. Okay? So that's kind of important too. The next whip that I have is Tired Trio. Another one, I think I showed on Floss Tube and said, I'm going to get this done. Plum Street Samplers, Tired Trio. This was started on May 12th of 2020. I'm stitching this on 40 count. No, sorry. Started it on 40 count Heritage, or no, 28 count tea-dyed Monaco is what I'm stitching it on. With the called for. And again, no reason why this isn't finished. I just don't enjoy stitching on it, and I don't know why, but it's going to get finished. I'm going to power through, and this is where I am. I gotta speed this up a little bit. My next whip is Pandemic by Long Dark Samplers. This was released for free during the pandemic, and now it is for sale on the website. Let's see if I can pull this up on my... This is the picture. If you guys aren't familiar, I really, really love stitching on this piece. Truly do. I am currently 7.19% done. I am stitching this. This is on 40 count Heritage by Picture This Plus. I am stitching this with Silks for You. It's a black silk. I forget what the name of it is, but this is how far I am. And I actually love stitching on the monochromatics, so I'm excited that that's not that far down on the list of WIPs that could potentially come out to sub in. Next one is Kringles by Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm stitching this with all the called for threads. I am stitching this on, let's see, Kringles. 30 count Frisian Gray, which I believe is the called for linen. Here's the picture of what it will look like. I did work on this a bit while we were RVing, and I really do like working on this. But here we go. And I did get some progress on it. So I worked in that second room. I also worked in the black bunting underneath. I'm just going to continue to work my way across in levels. If I didn't have so many projects going right that I wanted to stitch on, I'd be able to stitch on a little more not monogamously, but not flit all over the place and get some of these done. So that's that one. Next one is Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. I started this on June 13th, and I believe I started it for Dark 13 stitching when I was doing such things. I am stitching this on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus, and it's some of the called for, some stash dive. I'm going to show you a picture. Sorry, it's all crinkled. I love this pattern. Pattern Keeper says I'm 46.82% done. I can't wait until this comes back out. I love all my pieces. I have gone through all my WIPs and I've paired out the ones that were not bringing me joy. I've either unkitted them, moved them on to somebody else, and or just gotten rid of them. There's no point in stitching if it doesn't bring you joy. But here's Emily's House. This is where I am. Sorry, all the loose threads. This is just how I roll, guys. You're gonna have to. Okay. Some of these projects I stitch in hand. I get asked all the time. Some of them are on frame, some of them are on Q-snap, some of them I stitch in hand. It depends on the fabric, how my hands are feeling, and a bunch of other things. But there you go. There's that. Anxious for that one to come back out. So that's Emily's House, Learning Stitches. My next oldest WIP is Mushroom and Fern Mandala by Chatelaine. I have another Chatelaine all kitted up that I bought from European Cross Stitch that I want to start, and I will not let myself start that until this one's done. I thoroughly enjoy working on Mushroom and Fern. This photo does it absolutely no justice. I'm stitching mine on 28 count Mushroom Lugana. And this is a big one, and she's back on her frame. So I'm going to show you like this. Hopefully you can see all that. Can you see? So I have more of the center section done. It's just rolled up on my scroll rods. But this section's completed. This section's completed, including beads. And I'm currently working on this lower section. That's also on the frame, hoping to get some continuous work. I know it's not the oldest of my WIPs, but it is a large one. This piece of fabric, I believe, is 36 inches wide by 36. I think the piece is actually 28 inches square or something like that. So fun to work on. If you have a chatelaine in your stash and you are intimidated by it and you don't want to work on it, you should work on it. Just take it one step at a time in a learning process and try not to be a perfectionist and just kind of let it be its own thing. So mine's not perfect to the pattern. I call it unintentional customization, but it's turning out beautiful anyway, and nobody's gonna know about any of that, and I just enjoy it so much. So if you have a chatelaine at home and you are afraid to start it, just start. There is a chatelaine support Facebook page where people are quite responsive if you have questions. It's also just nice to see what everybody else is doing. Next, WIP, Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. This was started July 22nd of 2020. This is being stitched on 40 count Beach Brew by Picture This Plus. I did pick this up to work on it while I was RVing, but I have to admit that the night I picked it up, we did not, this is all wrinkled, sorry guys, this is all wadded up and in the bag. We didn't have power to our RV, so I was working with a battery operated magnifier, and it's 40 count. So I need a magnifier for 40 count, and at least in most light situations, and I was getting frustrated, so I just put it down. So I don't even think I got a ton in on it, and it's all wrinkled, but here you go. This border is all the way to the corner. I worked on some of the strawberries, I think is where I was trying to, and I did some of the letters. There you go. I'm going to edit this video as far as putting the pieces together, but I'm not going to put before and afters in. I like it when people do that. It just takes a ton of time, and I'm just not into that yet. Although, before I put them away, maybe I'll take pictures so that next time I have that. Next oldest WIP is Coming to America. This is from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. It was a big deal when it came out because it was the anniversary of the Mayflower's arrival. I think the Mayflower's arrival. This is stitched on the called for fabric with all the called for threads. I bought this as a kit, and I forget where I bought it from. And I actually like working on this, but I have not gotten very far because I have older things that need more attention. I believe this is Vintage Country Mocha. Let me take a look. I am pretty sure. Vintage Country Mocha, 40 count by Zweigart. And all the called for threads. So I'll be happy when that one comes back out too. Once we get down to the letters, it should go pretty fast. I stitch letters pretty quickly. Sorry for the zips. I know. Okay, so now that brings us up to, that was started on October 25th of 2020. Like I said, With Thy Needle and Thread. Okay, next batch. Hello, another stack. The next one that we're starting was also for free during the pandemic, and honestly I'm not so sure if it's, I don't know if it's still free or not. It is called the Pandemic Sampler. It is by Sarcy Girl. Let's see, I started this on November 15th of 2020. I'm stitching this on 36 count old linen by XU Designs with the called for floss. I'm doing 2/2, and the only reason I say this on this is because I find XU Designs a little looser of a weave than some of the other overdyes. So 36 count really is my demarcation line for one thread or two threads, and it really depends on how it looks in the fabric. I have been known to add a thread if I don't like how 1/2 looks. Here we go. Hard to see in this light, maybe you can see it right there. I worked the border all the way across. Again, a little tight on the border here, but that's how we go. Sorry, that was my computer making noises. Still love it. Still would love to work on it. I really wish that I was a monogamous stitcher sometimes, because I think I could just sit down with one project. Sorry, I'm trying to get these put away as well. You know, until it's done, and then it would, I would have more finishes. I'm craving finishes lately, and I think that's why my plans change all the time, because I'm starting to crave the finishes. So that would be that. The next one is my first full coverage that I started. It is Bonded in the Rain, artwork by Leonid Afremov, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This has been restarted about 3 different times on different fabric. I think because I didn't really know how I wanted to stitch my full coverage, and I actually, while I was on my trip, came into my own on full coverage, and I'm making lots of progress, as you'll see as we go forward. I did stitch on this while we were gone. This is being stitched on 25 count. I'm doing 2/110. I have learned that I prefer 28 count 2/110. Mainly because I have a lot of full coverages going, and a couple of them are quite large, and I really would like to get them done and framed and up. And because of my age, I want to get them done faster. So I'm doing now 28 count 2/1 stitch on all of my other full coverages. For those of you that have been with me know that I have a Star Wars full coverage that I've restarted twice now. I've now got that in a complete timeout, because I really, if I'm going to do that one, and I may not do that one, I may just pick a different one. I would like to do a Star Wars one, but I think I'd like it more colorful, and I will do a 28 count 2/110. So that one's been ditched for now, and I'll revisit that another time. But I did get quite a bit of progress done on this once I switched the way I was stitching full coverage, which I will share with you, because now in this segment we have a couple full coverages coming in. So again, this is on 25 count 2/110. My hair's a little fly the way. I did get this cut after I got back. It was actually 2 or 3 inches longer than this when I got home. Yeah. So anyway, it's cut. So let's see. The next one I have is Halloween Quaker, and I think it's Leela's Studio. It's this pattern right here. I am stitching this on 28 count Animus by Odyssey Fabrics. I'm stitching it with the called for floss. I started this on October 1st of 2021, and I honestly don't know why I don't have more of this done, because I really do like it. But I'm going to hold this back here. It's a little wrinkled because it's been sitting in the bag. So you see I worked myself. I started in the middle with starting the witch, and then I worked myself over towards the corner. I really like how this is working up. I love working on it. And we'll see when it comes back out again. But we'll talk about plans here shortly. I tend to stitch seasons in the season, so I have a hard time with Christmas in July. Yeah, I tend to stitch Christmas around Christmas time, although I did take my Christmas with July and I did work on them. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Next one I have is a Lindy Stitches. This was offered in a kit. I bought the kit, couldn't resist. It's called Raven's Needlebook. I started this on October 2nd of 2021. I am stitching this on 36 count cream linen by Zygarde. She sent this, I forget what she sent this with, called for a fabric, 32 count Silvery Moon Lagana. And I don't know, I like the cream color that shows up in the picture versus the Silvery Moon Lagana. So I'm stitching it with the called for. I have the kit here so I can finish it. It'll be a smaller needle book because I'm just stitching on different kind of fabric. But here you go. This is where I am. So you see I do have a couple of smalls going, so I should finish these smalls before I start any more smalls. Right? Right. Okay. Next, Autumn Town. This was my first pattern that I bought from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I've since bought several others. And this is all wrinkled up, sorry. Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I am stitching this on 36 count Valor by Picture This Plus. I started this on October 15th of 2021. I must have been on a start frenzy, and honestly, it's a pathetic start. You ready? Really pathetic start. I'm doing my own thread conversion on this. I'm trying to use some of my silks, and this is where I'm at. Isn't that nuts? Right? So welcome to my crazy. I'll say it again. But what I'm using on this is a bunch of, I was in Bee Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month and Silk of the Month, and I pulled a bunch of her silks to use on this. I've since not in those clubs, but it has nothing to do with her. I love her fabric, love her silks. I have a lot of stuff, and you see how this is filling up with my WIPs now because I'm filming and then putting things away. My cart, that's my stitchy cart with my DMC set on floss drops, so I can just pull that. And I have plenty kitted up down at the bottom. Back to the WIPs. Next one, Royal Holiday. This is my other mirror that I have going. Love her. Just did not love her on that background fabric. And I gotta tell you, I'm not loving working with Whisper. But, love her. And I'm trying to remember if I saw her worked up on a blue or green fabric and I decided that's what I wanted to do, or if I just pulled all the colors and decided that's what I was going to do. I don't recall. I started this November 5th of 2021. After I said I would never do a mirror. This was the first one I started. And then I wanted to do, once I got familiar with mirrors, then I wanted to do Queen of Freedom, and it was out of print. And I actually went on a Facebook page and said, this is my unicorn chart, and a woman very kindly sent that to me. I offered to pay, nope, and it was, so I'm able to stitch her. This is being stitched on 28 count Abyss, and I believe it's by Fabrics by Stephanie. I am going to hold this up, don't laugh at all the threads. So I started in her dress down there in her lap, and I worked some of the dress, and then I wanted to put a face to her. So I worked my way up to get to her face, which I did not stitch 1/1 because I had already started Queen of Freedom and knew how much of a pain in the butt that was. And I'd like her even not 1/1. I did work on her while we were on our trip. I've been working in her crown area. So let me fold her back up. And I think she's beautiful. And I think she's beautiful on this fabric. The fabric's actually showing a little more, well, actually, that's kind of true to color. It's kind of forest greeny with a little bit of a blue hint to it. Would totally love to put one of these mirrors back in a frame. Yeah. Oh, I must be moving my... Okay, that's Royal Holiday by Mira. I'll call for floss and beads, no substitutions on mirrors, because why would you do that? They do a wonderful, it's like chatelaines. That's why I order them from European Cross Stitch, because I'm not going to be in charge of the substitution for that. All right, so the next one I started, so I had started a mini stitching shelf by artwork by Amy Stewart chartered by Heaven and Earth Design. Was told by somebody that the stitching shelf, the minis, would not be detailed like I wanted it, and I worked it up for a little while, and they were right. So I got rid of the mini. I bought the regular size. Well, who am I kidding? I bought several of her since. So I bought stitching shelf max colors, regular size max color. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Amy Stewart and the stitching shelf, I started it in the top left on 28 count, 1/1 full cross. I have converted it. It's still on 28 count. It's 2/1 tent because, as I said, I would like to get these done. I am, let's see if I can pull this up, 0.58% done. I started this on April 16th of this year. So I had no new starts for a long time. And the ones I did start, I've since ditched. I think Star Wars was in there somewhere, and this one, the mini version of this one was in there. Anyway, 28 count. It's converted to 2/1 tent, and I'm also converting it to Royal Rose. So let me put this really close. So if you haven't looked up Royal Rose yet, during this video, taking a break from hearing me talk, you should look up Royal Rose. If you stitch full coverage and you want to get them done faster, I'm telling you, it's made me faster. I spent maybe a couple hours filling in, and once I get this going, it's a much faster. Once you get them going, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt at first because you have to get some threads in there. And I wasn't parking at the time. I was doing cross country and using up a thread. Anyway, it is what it is. It's much faster for me, I can tell already. So that's what I'm converting them all to. Next one I worked on was Dasher and Dancer. This, the only reason I started this one, other than I love it, is it's from Hobby House Press, which Hobby House Needleworks is my LNS. That shop is about a half hour from here. She has just opened, it's her and her husband, and I believe a sister-in-law. They just opened a store right next to the Hobby House Needleworks. It's a Hobby House Woolworks for wool applique. They put a lot into the business. Their customer service is awesome. I can order and pick up if I don't have time to go shop, or I can go shop and it's totally fine. So I got this to support them, but I liked the pattern. What I didn't want to do, I wanted to do something interesting and not do a monochromatic. So I picked 2 or 3 colors. I have put this on a different fabric from Be Stitch Me. Yeah, and I'm loving it. I started this on Christmas Eve of 2021. I am stitching this on 36 count Cardinal by Be Stitch Me. It was a Fabric of the Month Club. I am stitching this with my own thread conversion, and I'm deciding where I place those threads as I stitch, trying to achieve balance. So I am trying to stitch this one all the way across to the other side. And we'll fill in from top down. I have done a little bit of motifs because I'm pretty sure that's how I'm going to place color, and you'll see here in a second. I am stitching this with a combination of DMCs, Classic Colorworks, Sulky is in here, yeah, and look at that. I'm going to hold it like this, see if you can see it. So we have a couple different greens in there, a gray and a white. Loving how this is turning out. I did work on this a tad. I did more of the letters because I was trying to get all the way across while we were on our vacation. So, yeah, that's a good one. Very good one. But so proud of my local needlework shop. She's very talented. I think she's the wife is the pattern designer. Yeah, good. The next one is His Eye on the Sparrow. This is by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenna Gervais. I started this December 31st of 2021. It was my New Year, New Start last year. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up here because I bought the PDF. This is the pattern. If you haven't seen it, Jen Lee from Quirks and Stitches and her mom, I believe they have finished it, but I saw it on their channel and loved it. I also like Consider the Lilies, which is the companion piece for this, but I won't buy that pattern or start it until this one's done. And as you can see, I have a good long way to go. I started this in the bottom right hand corner. I'm using my own stash die for threads. And this is how far I've gotten. Did I tell you where I'm stitching this out? Yep, 36 count Edinburgh linen in cream. I really do like Edinburgh linen. Sometimes I can stitch it in hand. Stitching in hand is kind of a weird thing for me. I love stitching in hand because it's faster, but I have issues with my hands sometimes. So the next project I can't show you. I can show you this. That's all I can show you. This is a secret project. It is stitched on 28 count Silvery Moon even weave with a Mrs. Seda silk in peacock. I cannot show you the stitch is a super secret stitch. I will tell you that I have to have it done in a certain time frame, and I'm not going to tell you what that time frame is. Super special for me, so this is going in my bin of daily stitch so I can get that work done. Yeah, so that's that. But that was started February 4th of 2022. That actually, I started that when I was at the Steel City Stitchers retreat. So there you go. And I was awaiting some news. So there you go. Next one is, I started this on 12, no, yes, 12, oh, this is in the wrong order. I started this in December 21st of 2021. That can't be right. Yes, last year. It is called World of Disney. It's by Popular Cross Stitch, I believe. I don't remember where I got this, but I ended up anyway, I'm stitching it on 28 count Mushroom Lugana. It is a monster piece. I have converted this over to 2/110, or I'm going to be converting this over to 2/110. Actually, I think it already is 2/110. I did work on this while we were on vacation, and I am going to be converting this to Royal Rose, although I haven't started yet. But there you go. You can see Mickey's head. So you can see I was working on the diagonal, and then I got impatient with that, so I started filling in his face. I'm going to get into the Royal Rose routine, and I might do it by page on this one. I don't know. But you can see his head. So I am making progress, slow but sure. But this is I think this is the largest piece I have going. This is some crazy. It's 850 wide by 600 high. I do think this is the largest piece I have going. And I'm a Disney lover. I would like to get more progress on this. So hence, this is the next one that I'm going to be starting to convert. Well, I have 2 of them that I need to convert. But I went on a hay kick here, you'll see here in a second. I need to convert this to Royal Rose and 2/110. So a bunch of you are going to be balking at me about converting to 2/110. I have found 2/110 on 28 count looks just fine. I also found that if you take a piece and you put it up, hold it at the distance you'd be looking at it on a wall framed, you will not notice the difference between a full cross and a tent. You won't. And I've tried it. I've tested it. I've tried it. Bonded in the Rain, when I showed you that back in the earlier parts of this video, some of that, the very corner of it, is 1/1 full cross, and then I transitioned that to 10 stitch a long time ago, when I was a cross country stitcher, and you cannot tell a difference. It's a color saturation thing, and as long as you're using enough threads, I would not start these pieces over. And if somebody's going to sit there and nitpick it, but I know some of you would start it completely over, and I totally get it. I'm not gonna. That's a lot of stitches for me to start over. Like, for example, let's look at just how many stitches that is that are in this already. I have over 5,000 stitches in here. I am not starting this over. So I'm going to do 2/1 tent. I'm going to convert it to Royal Rose, and we're going to get going on this thing. That's all there is to it. Welcome to the crates. But I can see his head, so I would like to get into some of the other stuff that are on this pattern, because if you look, where did I put it? There is a lot of cool stuff in this pattern. Rant over. But there you go. That is World of Disney. And it's good to go. I'm proud of it. Next one is another Haid. This is Tree of Life. It is being stitched on 28 count Mushroom Lugana. It is artwork by Michelle Sayeti of Heaven and Earth Design. Charted by them. And this is the mini. And this has not been converted over to Royal Rose or 2/1 tent stitch either, and it will be. But this is where I'm at. So that's going to be converted as well. The Tree of Life, let's look. Where is it here? It says I'm 2.15% done. I have 2,000 stitches into this, so this needs to get love next. This will be the next one converted. Yeah. Can't wait. I am actually loving my full coverage now that I'm converting them all. I just like stitching that way better. I think it took me a long time to figure out how I like stitching full coverage, and it just makes me much happier to stitch them. 2/1 tent, you get a lot more progress more quickly, and if you do it Royal Rose, you see progress versus, cross country stitching where you don't see a ton of progress for a long time. All right, the next one I have is Mother Duck. It is a kit that I bought at the Steel City Stitchers Retreat. It's by Bothy Threads, and I got it because, I have 4 kids. Mama Duck and 4 kids. I am stitching this on the Kit Ada with the kit threads, and I have not gotten very far in hanging threads. I started working on a little chick. I started this on May 8th of this year. Got part of a little chicken and haven't worked on it since. I think I started it when somebody said to me, what is the difference between having it kitted and actually started? It's still kind of a WIP because you still want to stitch it. So I just started it. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, next. It's another Haid. I started this with Hannah Dowling, known as Hannah Dowling on Floss Tube. We were supposed to start this, and don't laugh. We were supposed to start this on New Year, New Start for this coming New Year's Eve. We started hashtag 6 months early. This is Grand Library. The artwork is by Amy Stewart, It is chartered by Heaven North Designs. I am stitching this on 28 count 2/1 tent. This is the first one that I actually started that way. But I wasn't stitching it in Royal Rose. And now I am converting it to Royal Rose. And you will see that here. I was working on it this morning. So I have a bunch of hanging threads because I'm starting in Royal Rose. So quick explanation of Royal Rose. And if you guys want me to do a video of me stitching in Royal Rose, I'm happy to do that. But Allison Royal of Royal Stitches has videos on her channel that are quite informative. What you do is you stitch in a 10 across by 20 stitch down area. And then you either park in the dungeon, which is below, or to the outside, whichever way you're stitching. This one I started in the upper left, so it would be on the right hand side of whatever tower I'm stitching in. A tower is 10 stitches wide by 20 stitches high. And so by doing that, you fill in, for me, I'm filling in faster and seeing progress faster. I'm also getting more stitches in. The time-consuming part of converting something to Royal Rose is getting some enough threads in there, so you're filling in some areas that I've already got stitches in, and getting enough threads parked that you can just pick up and stitch. But I'm liking the Royal Rose a lot. In this one I actually started 2/1 tent, and you'll see I had progress down below because I was kind of cross-country within the page. I think I will do Royal Rose by the page probably. Also, some of the benefits of Royal Rose is, you know how when you do cross-country you get parts of the back that are hard to push a needle through? This is supposed to help prevent that because you're parking threads both to the side and down, so not everything's going in one direction. But we'll see. I'm going to keep going with Royal Rose. You know very well I could do another floss tube in a couple of weeks and tell you that I'm done with the Royal Rose. So you know how it goes, right? But so far right now, I started this on June 4th of this year. Let's see, let's give you some stats, shall we? Since I'm all that today. I have over 2,400 stitches in. I am 0.6%. But I have to tell you, it's going a lot faster. So if I keep these on frames, all my full coverage on frames, and I keep kind of pecking away at them, I think this will be a good plan. All right. That is my last full coverage piece. I have 2 more to show you. So this one is Jackrabbit. This is by Cotton Garden Samplings. This was started June 18th of this year. It's being stitched on 36 count spring into woods by Picture This Plus. All 3 of the springs are going on this piece of fabric. I'm doing stash die threads on all of these. I think not for this one, but some of them I have the called for variegated of the body of the animal. This one I did not. So it's totally a stash die. I feel like this one's taking me forever. I had a mistake in here. And I had to work around the mistake because I was not ripping it out. I ripped out part of this rabbit twice, and I'm just not doing it again. So this is where I'm at. Sorry, I have a needle minder right in the middle of those flowers. This is where I'm at. I work on this definitely on Sunday. Sometimes I give it Saturday. And this is mine, Sal. I'm doing this with Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. It is and Hannah Dowling has joined us. It is hashtag Woods Sunday Sal. So post your progress on Instagram and we would hashtag us. We would love to see your progress. But we are on the Jackrabbit, all 3 of us. I just feel like this one's taken me super long, way too long. And so we'll see if this weekend I can get some progress. But we have a very busy weekend this weekend. So I may have to give this some love on Friday and Saturday. Because Sunday, I've got to tell you, we are pretty busy. And then I go back to work on Monday, and so is my husband. He's off this week completely. So we have that. One more WIP. I started this one with a bunch of my new friends from StitchCon. It is Cinnamon Stars. I believe it's from, yep, Plum Street Samplers. I started this on July 6th of this year while I was out traveling. What am I stitching this on? I'm stitching, I don't even have this on my spreadsheet yet, so I gotta figure that out. Let's see if I can find the fabric card for you. I can't, so I'll have to update you next time. I'm pretty sure, did I write it on here? Oh, scroll, B-stitch me, 36 count. I did. I was stitching this in the hand and then I ended up having to put it in a frame because I was having trouble stitching it in hand. And here's where I'm at. I'm doing stash dive threads on this as well. Sorry. My stitches are always such a mess because I have counting issues, so I have to park. But there you go. There's that. And that's the last of my WIPs. This is a long video, much longer than I wanted it to be. So very short. We're going to do a very quick haul. I'm going to do a very quick life update. We'll talk about plans really quickly. I'm going to continue to work on my sales and the things that I had in frames and Q-snaps, as you saw. For right now, that's how I'm going to work it and try to get some things done. Who knows how long that will last. On my travels, we went real quick. We RV'd for 3 weeks plus 3 days. We went from here to, well, we stayed a couple nights in between, but we ended up in Hamilton, Missouri. I visited Missouri's our quote company. I also went to Liberty, Missouri, and went to Quilting is My Therapy, Angela Walter's shop. So I got a magnet from Hamilton for my RV. I also bought some Missouri Star Quote Company pins, just because I like them. They have a shop that's dedicated to bag patterns, so I bought a bag pattern and the hardware to go with it. They also have a yarn shop, and I bought 2 skeins of this. It's a 220 Superwash Wave by Cascade Yarns. I got 2 skeins of this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but there you go. I bought a Tula Pink Fat Quarter Bundle. This is her, I think it's Critters is what it's called. I got that. It's pretty. And I got some of Angela Walter's, I got some fat quarters, and I would love to do a patriotic quilt and incorporate some of these, but these are the fat quarters I bought. This is Angela Walter fabric. I bought a yard of this, yard of this. What else do I have? Oh, my fabric of the months from Grace Notes. Dimon Vens. I can't pronounce this name. But you're gonna see how it works. That's a little too light. It's a little darker than that. That's better. I got that. And then she was selling some other fabric pieces on the Facebook page. And I bought some Caramel Kiss. It says 25 count Lugana. That's about right. That's a little too light. That's a little washed out. Let's see if we can. That's better. It's a little deeper than that. But that's my haul. So that's a fast run through haul because I think this video is going to be really long. If you guys have any questions at all, please pop them in the comments below. I had a couple people comment on my last video for needle minders and scissor fobs, so I will contact them. That will happen shortly. And I think that's all I'm going to show you for today because this is a long video. So anything that I didn't show you today, I'll wait till the next one. I am going to try to get a video up every week. We'll target Thursdays, and we'll target for about 6 p.m. So hopefully I'll get this video up today by 6 p.m. All right. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the WIP Parade. If you want a kit parade or a pattern parade, because I've seen a lot of people doing them, let me know. I would be happy to film one. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other, and I'll talk to you soon.